Hello guys and welcome back to another one with us to review bros, and today we're going to be taking a look at the very much highly anticipated extraterrestrial pre-workout Rage AF by Labz. I'm assuming that AF stands for as fuck, so is it really called Rage as fuck? I don't know, you let me know. But how will it fare as we cover the taste, the price, the label and the effects? Will it have you phoning home for help? And please do give the video a like and drop your thoughts down below on this product and anything else you want to see us review. It really does help us out with the algorithms. And if you're new, please do hit the subscribe button and tick the bell icon. We do appreciate it. Okay, we move into taste and mixability. So we have got the Rainbow Kryptonite flavour, and it actually looks really, really nice, judging by how it is on the tub at least. And you know what, we always love candy-esque flavours, so we're hoping for good things. Obviously, we've both used it several times, but I'm going to sort of pretend it's my first time for the sake of the camera. So anyway, let's look at the mixability before I jump the gun too much. There are some little bits settled at the bottom there. I've let it settle for about 30 seconds after stirring it, and that's probably about average, I'd say. You know, it's not amazing, it's not terrible. There's some bits there. What are you going to do? Give it a bit of a shake and neck it when you get there. But let's see how it tastes. It's a weird one. Part of me wants to think it's nice, but then there's like a bitterness, like a chemical aftertaste, a very much illicit pre-workout-y taste to it. So you're not going to be mistaking it for a nice squash out your fridge or cupboard or anything like that. So I'll have one more sip and then I'll come to a conclusion. Yeah, definitely nicer at the forefront, then gets worse. It definitely does have a sour, rainbow, bursty, Skittles taste to it, but then it's just ruined by all the bitterness and chemical undertones really. But it's not shocking by any stretch. I think, you know, considering when we get into the label what we see is in it, you're not going to be moaning about the flavour, about the taste. But I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10, so still above average. It's okay. It's not fantastic. You won't be enjoying it, but you won't be struggling either. Let's move on to price. So to pick up this alien pre-workout, you'll be heading over to nutritionalsupplementshop.com, and we actually have them guys to thank for sending us down this pre-workout. We do appreciate it. But if you want to pick it up, head over to their website, put in the code RB10, it will knock off 10%, and you can pick it up for $44.99 or $2.25 per serving. And when you translate that over into pounds and put it against our consistent price scale, it comes in at a 3.5 out of 10. So with 5 out of 10 being bang average price for a pre-workout, this is falling a bit short. So it is definitely more expensive than your typical pre-workout, even with the discount code. So what sort of effects are we looking to get from that price point? Should be freaking banging, right? Well, let's get into it. Okay, let's get into that label. What are we getting in this crazy pre-workout? Right, so what I do like about it, I will say, is it's got what's in the tub, and then they break down what each of the ingredients do. So thumbs up, you know, it's always good to educate the consumer so they know exactly what they're getting. Well, you know, it's kind of a contradiction really, because it is a semi-proprietary blend. So do you want to tell us information or not, Labz? Let us know. But anyway, it's promising. Hyper speed fat burner, nebulizing pumps, not heard that word before. Intergalactic endurance and enlightening euphoria. Oh, we're going to be off our bonces as we get into this one. So slightly under a flat scoop does achieve that 13,301 milligram scoop serving size. So let's get into it. Beta-alanine, 4 grams. We approve. That's above the clinical dose of 3.2, so we're getting above and beyond there. Gives an itchy, tingly sensation when it kicks in, normally about 10 minutes after consuming it. Gives you that sense of urgency, and it does also help with endurance when it builds up in your system by buffering lactic acid, if you continue to take it. Then we've got L-citrulline at 4 grams, which is what we like to call the lowest end of doing the job in terms of increasing nitric oxide levels in the bloodstream and increasing your chances of getting a nice juicy pump, improved blood flow effectively, which will take. Then we've got agmatine sulfate, a gram, nice dose. Highest you normally see is about 1.5, so a gram's not to be sniffed at. And that is going to help again boost nitric oxide levels. It's going to help to make pumps last longer, and it does also have some neurological benefits in pain reduction. Then we have L-carnitine L-tartrate, which is a fast-acting form of L-carnitine. It's going to help to metabolize fat cells as energy, and it has been shown to help with overall performance and cognition. And then we've got Norvaline, another amino acid at 150 milligrams, not a bad dose. That's an arginase inhibitor, so it's going to help effectively L-arginine to stay around for longer, so you can stay pumped for longer. So it's going to pair up with the agmatine sulfate to achieve a similar goal with the vasodilation and the pump element. Then we've got the Rage as Fuck Stimulatory Nootropic Blend consisting of 1,701 milligrams. So this is where it gets into proprietary blend territory. For those of you that don't know, apart from the caffeine it's got there in brackets, we don't know the dose of each of these ingredients. So it is guesswork. We don't know how much, we're going to get blasted to the moon from a stimulant standpoint at least. So, the irony about these prop blends is, if anything, I would prefer to not know how much of the pump and endurance ingredients I'm getting, and I prefer to know what stims I'm getting, because that's the one that can perhaps come with harm. But that's just me. But I do know why they do it, obviously. It's because the stims is the bit that's more, more special, I guess. All of the different ratios of stimulants they're using. So they want to hide that particular element, so they don't want anyone else to come out of a pre-workout that feels the same way as their one. So I do understand to a degree, but we still don't like it, okay? So we've got taurine. Well, it's a bit funny. They're covering the taurine dose. Can't let anyone know that. That's an amino acid. It's a bit of a jack of all trades. It helps with cognition, energy production within the body, but why we like it is that it helps with electrolyte balance and hydration. Then we've got that caffeine and high anhydrous. What is it, Brian Badondi? Caffeine and anhydrous, 400 milligrams, 4 cups of coffee worth of energy. You're definitely going to feel that. It's going to wake you up, tell your brain, no, you're not sleepy. Wake the heck up and get down the gym. So yeah, it's fast-acting form of caffeine. It's going to wallop you rather quick. Slightly above average amount. Then we've got choline citrate. It's not an amount I can recall seeing, at least not recently, but choline is converted to acetylcholine in the brain to help with your focus and concentration. So we're going to be getting a little bit of focus here. Well, at least a little bit, should we say. Then we've got 1,3-Dmba+Dmha, which I can't even pronounce. An illicit banned stimulant that's going to get you off of your bonds if it's legit. Yeah, it's just a grey area hardcore stimulant. It should have you tunnelled in euphoric town, sense of urgency through the roof. We'll just have to see. And then we've got guarana seed extract yielding 22% caffeine. That is basically just another caffeine type stimulant. It's going to help with sense of urgency, wakefulness, getting you moving. Then we've got 2-amino-6-methylheptane, aka DMHA. Again, don't know the dose of any of these, so we don't know how much we're going to get blasted. But that is another grey area banned type stimulant, seen as a bit of a weaker form of a DMAA replacement effectively. It's going to wake you up, give you an immense amount of drive and euphoria. We'll have to see again, what we're going to get from that. It is kind of guesswork with these underground pre-workouts. We don't know if they're chatting poo or if it's going to come together. Then we have Noopept, which is one of the most hyped nootropics around. It's one that all of the university students are abusing to get through their exams. It's very much loved and well received within the supplement world for increasing productivity, focus, motivation. We'll just have to see how it comes together. We do like it. And then we move down to yohimbine hydrochloride, not to be confused with alpha yohimbine. So we're looking at fat burning properties, sense of urgency, stimulation, could come potentially, depending on the dose, with some cold sweats, jitters, illness type feeling that alpha yo often brings. Yohimbine HCl can bring that if it's dosed high enough, but generally not as bad as alpha yohimbine. So that is a pretty packed pre-workout, guys. I don't know what you guys think of it, but yeah, if it comes together the way the label suggests, we should be visiting planets around the solar system. But stay tuned as we get into the real world effects. How do we find it? Okay guys, so took it about 15 minutes ago. Beta alanine's kicking in strong, heart rate's going up. Let's see what comes in the next 15 minutes. I think it's going to be one of those ones you need to give a bit more time to kick in because it's got all those illicit stimulants. Been about half an hour now since I took it, and I definitely got a sense of something illicit in here. It's definitely not just an everyday pre-workout, shall we say. So I do think it's going to intensify over the coming hours. So I'm going to get down the gym now. Let's see what's in store. All right, guys, just pulled up at the gym. Been about 45 minutes since I necked the pre-workout, and yeah, there's definitely something illicit in here. I feel powerful. I feel like I could put my hand through a brick wall. So let's see if that translates into training, shall we? Okay, let's strap up our boots, pull out our ray guns, and blast our way straight into this one. Rage AF. How did myself and Aaron get on in the few times we've both used it? Well, first and foremost, right off the bat, I'll say it definitely lives up, for the most part, to that name and to that label. So let's get into the experience. So 10-15 minutes, you start feeling the beta-alanine, and it comes in hella strong. As you might expect, it's in there at 4 grams, above the typical dose, although there is no digestive aid, mind you, but we didn't find it to hold back the pre-workout in this sense. So yes, it kicks in very strong. I would say literally like 8, 9 out of 10 on the tingle scale. It really does get you revved up to get moving. And that lasts a good 20 to 30 minutes. Now what comes in after about 30 to 45 minutes is an illicit feeling of, you know, a sense of, oh, there is something in here, definitely. You know, I can't confirm if Dmba or DMHA is 100% in there, but it definitely feels like something along those lines. Let's just put it that way. So you get this sense of intense focus, tunnel vision, this sense of power, this do or die attitude. And I would say it is one of those pre's that you do want to let kick in for, I would say the sweet spot would be about 30 to 40 minutes in all honesty, and then you want to be actually training. So yeah, that's how you really just let it get circulating around your system and come over you. We've always said this, me and Aaron, you know, the more relaxed you are in that kick-in time, the more you give your body a chance to just digest it all and utilise it, rather than running around all over the place, eating stuff, you know, just confusing yourself and your body, not letting it really settle in. So that is important with any high stim pre or any pre-workout really. So yeah, that comes in after a good sort of 30-40 minutes. You feel absolutely tunnelled in. And to be honest with you, once you start training, you don't want to stop. You don't want to have any rest time. You feel like you can lift any amount of weight. You know, you'll be shooting for PBs. You don't give a shit. It's definitely one of those ones where you can't really tell when you're going to fail during your set, because you just feel so powerful. You feel like you can move any amount of weight. So rather than you sort of getting a feel for when you're going to fail your next rep, you sort of just... you just fail. You're like, oh shit, there's my limit. I didn't even realise, because the pre-workout's like whispering in your ear saying, you got it, bro, it's all you can do it. So you really don't know where your limits are until you've already gone past them. And I would say that's a good thing, but you know, obviously do use with caution, because you don't want to injure yourself either. But it will have you wanting to go, you know, to PB town. So even for me, for chest today, like, I trained solo today and I was going for heavy ass benching, you know, the heaviest I could manage, which I wouldn't normally do without a spotter. But today, this pre-workout gave me the confidence. It was like, if you die, you die. Just fucking do it. So it gave me that immense confidence to just train as hard as I possibly could, no matter the consequences. I was in there for a good hour and a half for chest and triceps. And yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. I didn't want to leave. And it does, like I mentioned earlier, live up to that Rage AF, because you don't, mind you, you don't really feel aggressive, like really angry, but you feel so focused and aggressive towards training, but it don't put you in a bad mood sort of aggression. It's not like that. It just makes you productively aggressive towards your training. So yeah, you're feeling like a main character. You're feeling like Doom Guy, basically. You're smashing through it. And I think with regards to the highness element, there is definitely an element of background highness to it, but not like super off your head euphoric town highness. It's not that sort of level. It's more like a tunnel vision intense focus level. It's more on that side of things. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the hybrid pre-workout actually. I don't know if you guys have used that one, but yeah, there's something in it, put it that way. It just it makes you train hard. There's no denying it. You're not going to have a bad session on it. There was no negatives from the Himbine, I didn't find. There was also no negatives in general, really. I mean, there was a bit of excessive thirst, but is that really a negative? I like to stay hydrated. And a bit of mild appetite suppression for several hours after using it. I would say the peak effects last for about 2 or 3 hours, and then they wean off, and then you're left with that kind of background frazzled illicit kind of feeling, you know, the DMHA come down feeling, but not a crash. I didn't crash off. You know, I'm talking to you right now, and I trained about 5-6 hours ago, and I'm seem all right to myself. So yeah, I'm not dead on it. So I think you'd be all right if you was to train earlier and you had things to do later on in the day. It's not going to completely kill you off, basically. So I think that covers the energy and the focus standpoint, and how you generally feel on it. You feel freaking powerful and good on it. But the pumps is the only thing we haven't touched on, and they were okay. You know, you're not really you got a few bits in here for pump, don't get me wrong, but we're not talking crazy. We're talking a minimum amount of L-citrulline, an okay dose of agmatine sulfate, and some L-norvaline. It's the basics. It definitely gets things moving and gets everything pushing around your body, but it doesn't, you know, you're not going to see veins bursting out or feel anything crazy that you would from, say, a full-blown pump formula. But you don't buy this sort of pre-workout for that, let's face it. But it's nice to have a little bit of pump thrown in. So yeah, they were all right. They were all right. Nothing noticeably crazy. I think that it's one of those ones that gets you training like a nutcase, so you build up your own pumps and you get that intense mind-muscle connection. But yeah, it's just, it gives you a huge sense of power, a huge sense of motivation and confidence. That's the standout feature for me, the focus, and how productive you end up training on it. So it is a stim junkie pre-workout, definitely, but it's a serious one. It's not a muck around one. It's one that you'd want to take for heavy, powerlifty, strength style training days where it's not going to get you too pumped. That's still okay. Days where you want to go breaking your personal best, you know, all of that sort of thing. So yeah, I do recommend it. The only downside is it is a little bit expensive for what you get. You know, 3.5 out of 10 on our price scale. It is definitely more expensive than your average pre-workout, and you can get pre-workouts of similar strength for less money. But at the same time, you know, the effects really, really good. You know, it's one that I'll definitely want to use again down the line. It's not a forgettable pre-workout. So I think I would pay that money for it, but that is definitely on the upper end, you know. And like I said, if you do want other Stim Junkie-esque pre-workouts that feel similar strength-wise, you can get them cheaper. So it's discretionary, that's what I'm trying to say. If you like it based on what I've described, pick it up. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. What can I say? But yeah, great pre-workout, highly recommend. The focus and productivity are the standout points for sure. And I would give it, honestly, see, it is promising pumps on the side, so I am going to factor that into this score. I'm still going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. I'm only going to knock it down a point for the slightly lacking pumps because it is freaking good. You know, I really do recommend you give it a go. So yeah, 9 out of 10, solid pre-workout. Thoroughly enjoyed it in all the times we've used it. Let us know your thoughts down below. Have you used it? Do you want to use it? And as always, stay stimmed.